title of the nomination suggests that. What constitutes this outstanding universal value of the nomination is the historical and cultural aspect, precisely this being a place of encounter among people from different parts of the world passing through Jeddah to get to Mecca. It is this intangible value that justifies the reference to criterion 6. In fact, the ICOMOS evaluation itself recognizes such value in part of its report on the description of the property, its history and development, but which is of course not confirmed in its conclusions. The second point, Madam Chair, that I would like to make is what we see as a very worrying tendency. We saw it this morning when we discussed the Baghdad inscription. We saw it yesterday for Ghana, and now we are again seeing it for Saudi Arabia. And if you will permit me, let me point out, if you see page 89 of the documentation that has been submitted to member states, again this aspect is pointed out, that there was no additional information requested from the state party concerned. Moving on to page 99 of the documentation, and I will quote from there, although the nomination dossier is much augmented since the first nomination, it does not provide the necessary detail to show how what has survived is sufficient to substantiate the proposed value of the nominated area, unquote. Now, my point is that had there been a request for additional information, which does not seem to have been the case, the nomination dossier could have been much better improved. So this is precisely what we've been talking about since yesterday, this morning, and I'm taking the floor again on this particular point, that there has to be a greater transparency. There has to be a greater transparency in the working of ICOMOS. While we do appreciate that there is transparency in the working of the committee, for example, the proceedings of the committee are being live streamed. That is transparency. What about a greater transparency, which is what we've been talking about? And I think I echo the sentiments of many others in the room for a greater transparency in the working of ICOMOS. So what I feel and what I would suggest to the committee now is that we need to take this to a higher level. It is not just enough to speak about this. It is not just enough to have it inscribed in a resolution, but I think we should now move towards taking this aspect to the operational guidelines. The case for a greater transparency in the working of the advisory bodies. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, India. I now give the floor to Kazakhstan.